Everyone, welcome to Anime Amigos. And this intro has been completely fucked up already.
Yeah,
I'm Calvin Atkinson, the Pokemon Punk.
I'm Ren the JoJo Genius.
This is so weird. I'm Headbanger Vagrant, and you may remember last time we said that Reese will not be able to show up because of medical reasons, or whatever that means. Well, guess what, guys? We managed to bring him here. Yep, here he is. Here's good old Reese. Say hi, everybody. Say hi to everyone. Everyone, Reese. Gun!
Quick question.
Yeah.
Where's the rest of him?
The doctor says it was okay. They could salvage. They said that the carnage was too obscene for an anime podcast.
Which one, Pepper or Pablo? Both.
Reese, have you had a haircut or something? Have you lost weight?
Okay, can I just stress for anyone watching, Reese is not dead. He's
No, don't ruin the joke.
he was successful, and I've been in communication with him. We reckon he reckons he'll be back next month.
Yeah, what do you think of all that, Reese? What do you think of all that?
Is this a Cal moment?
That sink no longer functions. Quiet you.
I love my voice being out of sync.
You should see the other guy.
I mean, it's actually quite appropriate considering both the subjects we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Have we got a
Oh yeah,
skull
good
one?
point actually. It relates to both.
So obviously, it's a Netflix double feature for this one.
Yes.
Woo!
We're talking about Zom 100 live action, and I'm finally getting around to talking about Netflix One Piece, which we've wanted to do for quite a while, but we've not been able to schedule it properly until now.
It came out around the time, I think, the end of last season.
It was,
so.
okay. So it was basically a case of we really have to get on with doing the seasonal roundup.
Yes.
Let's save that for next time.
Yeah.
And I'm quite glad because I got to enjoy it without the Twitter discussion, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, so all of it had blown over by that point.
So I got to really judge it on its own. I think it's kind of interesting occasionally to do it when there's less of the opening hype or opening lack of hype, if you catch my drift.
Yes. Anti-hype.
It's kind of like when Cynical reviews his review for Velma.
Yes, that's a good example actually, because it said even by that point it was still crap.
Did that come out a long time after the
that came out like, I think, a good 6 months after Velma did.
Mm.
And a lot of people was like, stopped talking about it by that point.
Yeah, valid.
So, I think we'll start with Zom 100 live action, shall we?
Definitely, yes. So,
So, Zom 100, at the time of recording, I should stress for this one, there's currently 60 chapters of the manga out, and 9 episodes of the anime. The episode 10, 11, and 12 have not broadcast at the time of recording. But but for my experience, I've read all 60 chapters, and I've watched all 9 episodes. You guys watched all 9 episodes of Zom 100. How do we start with this time? I think, Reese, what did you think of it? I didn't give my opinion in Twitter Messenger.
Interesting.
Elliot, what did you think of Zom 100 live action?
It was good. I quite liked it, actually. I thought of the live action anime adaptation, this was one of the better ones.
Ren?
I thought it was okay. I agree. It suffers from live action anime syndrome, which is just not being as good as the original.
I'm as a big Zom 100 fan, it's perfectly okay. I think.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of changes that I liked and a couple of changes I didn't like.
Yeah.
Can I start with a change I sort of both liked and didn't like?
Are we going straight into spoilers then?
No, not exactly. Well, okay, I'll say okay.
I didn't like that they were on one cartoons.
Spoilers for I'll say.
There were no big titted blongos.
Yeah,
where is my waifu Beatrice?
I think I didn't notice that they cut it off just before Beatrix was going to come into the show.
Yes.
I should stress, if you've watched all 9 episodes that are broadcast so far of Zom 100,
you're not missing anything.
there's there'll be no spoilers in our spoiler discussion.
It doesn't go anywhere past.
It doesn't go anywhere past that one because the movie doesn't get to that arc.
Yeah.
So this, I will stress though, it doesn't. One of the things I did like is that to streamline it for a movie, for the finale they combined Truck Stop of the Dead and Superhero of the Dead.
Yeah, there's something they quite often. Some live action things do that. In my opinion, makes a good adaptation because you have such limited time to tell something.
Yes.
You still have to combine elements together at times.
The example that jumps to my mind is the Series of Unfortunate Events film, which kind of like
Yeah.
they merged the first and third books, I think, into like.
They also Frankenstein a bit of the second one in there
Yes,
as well.
yes,
but the thing is that one doesn't work. In
No,
my
yeah,
opinion.
exactly. That's an example.
So there's an
of that.
example. That's a bad example of it. I'd say a good example.
You say that I still like the film. I still like the Series of Unfortunate Events film. I think it's good.
Yeah, I do.
There's
yeah.
a couple of examples I think work quite well. I think, despite the fact I don't like it as much as the comic, I do think the Scott Pilgrim movie does a good job of splicing together
Yes. Yeah.
all the comics that were out at the time. They didn't actually know what the
Did they
ending.
not?
I
No,
mean,
the comic wasn't done at the time they
Oh.
got to the film was coming out.
I mean, to go into one of my favorite authors, Brandon Sanderson, was sort of like making a sort of writing the script for one of his books, Mistborn, and he was sort of learning about how script writing worked from like some people in Hollywood, and he said like at times you have to combine story events because he combined like two parts that were originally separate but like put them together to try and make it work.
That's the problem. Okay, can I say one change I didn't like?
Go.
Well, I sort of liked it, and I liked it for the context of the film, but I thought it kind of took away from Akira's character in some other ways, which is the fact he was a college football player in this one.
I mean,
I thought he had a background in.
yeah, it did. It did in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but-
It
I
wasn't-
think what is more of a problem with me is in the fact that was a thing, but more they had more more focus on it.
Yeah, like,
than they did in the anime.
the
Like,
whole thing of
in the anime and manga, it was just sort of like a throwaway line. Like
Yeah,
he
that
did
was right, it was
he
just
did
a
American
throwaway
football in high school.
It was just a throwaway line, and I don't think
It also kind of helped explain like all the stamina he had while
Yes.
in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, that's all. I think they put way too much emphasis on it
Yeah.
in this one. I know it goes to his character arc in the film, but I also think I think the whole point of Akira is supposed to be that any one person is good enough to be him.
I think if anything, I'm more as to Kensho's arc in the film because like the
Yeah.
main conflict between those two is that in college, like Kensho could have thrown a football to Tendo,
Yeah, that was it.
but didn't, and I just thought, well, that isn't really. That wasn't that wasn't the main reason the conflict happened at the beginning in the show. The conflict was that they were both in shit jobs and were taking it out on one another.
Yeah.
I don't. I must be honest.
I was
Kensho is all right in this.
I was
version.
less keen on Kensho than in the anime.
Yeah, I will
Yeah,
admit, I like
yeah.
Kensho way more in the anime.
Yeah, because Kensho in the anime is just trying to be a big goofball. It's trying to be a big goofball. I am just very happy that in live action he wasn't constantly stripping naked.
Yes.
I feel like there would have been way more awkward to
Well,
film.
I think because what I like in the anime is that Kensho and Tendo are both like kind of parallels in a way. Kensho has the life that Tendo thinks he wants, and then it's the opposite way around as well,
Yeah.
which isn't reflected quite as much in the live action.
I think Tendo as well. I also think Akira in the live action one. I think he does. I think he also isn't as. I know it's a bit weird, but he isn't as expressive as he is in the anime. I
No,
think,
yeah.
and admittedly, sometimes when you do the whole anime actions in live action, it looks ridiculous and a bit
Yeah.
offsetting.
Yeah.
You need that animation to make it work. But I feel
Yeah,
like,
like
there's a couple of
in the anime, Tendo was louder than life. Like
Yes.
he was a big personality. In the film, it was just like he's a little bit louder than that. He's a little bit.
like you don't have that moment of him singing beer,
yeah.
what kind, any kind.
It is quite hard to translate that because I think also we'll talk about it later, but in the One Piece live action, some characters lost some of that flair. I think it's hard to translate the anime caricature to. the live
I'm
action.
actually going to explain why I liked that.
Okay, yeah,
actually.
interesting. Okay.
But I will stress as well. I think the zombie shark effect was a bit.
Yeah. that was
Yeah,
a bit
at the same
iffy.
time, we have to expect that Japanese, especially special effects, are not as good as the American.
I will say it was better than I was expecting it
Yes.
to look. It looks,
Yeah.
look, for example, it looks better than the CGI in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen movie, which had
that came out however many years ago.
2003. But even even at the time, people say the special effects were crap.
You need to remember, Lord of the Rings came out like 2003.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
And look at the effects of Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings still stands up. Hell, Jurassic Park's effects still stand up, and that came out in 1993.
I mean, you have to admit that the shark effect is still kind of a low budget Sharknado movie level.
Yeah, but at least no.
Like I could see that. Have the title Zombie Shark,
Yeah.
which I'm certain is a thing, and then boom, yeah.
I can't believe we get again. I still can't believe on YouTube they have that clip labeled as "Zombie Shark." Do.
It looks like it looks like a kind of like Doctor Who episode, sort of like production value, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, like an extended one.
I would say early Russell T Davies era effect.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I would say maybe like the Ninth Doctor series level.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Oh, right.
What about? I will say actually they do make the shark look like it's been in a tank a lot of its time. Like they did a good job making it have the right sort of lighting effect on it.
Yeah.
Like, because one of the problems I have with Sharknado is the sharks look like they've been on dry land almost their entire life and they've dried out completely. This one looks like it's lived in the water.
I love of all of the issues with Sharknado, you pick that one.
I've seen 3 of them, mate. I've seen 3 of them.
That's your problem, Carl.
I know. I genuinely, the third one, I was like, right, David Hasselhoff's on the moon with sharks, right? Now we've gone too far.
Yeah.
It wasn't even, you get Jedward in there and they don't get eaten, but Chris
Yeah,
Jericho,
4 people. Yeah.
Jedward have a cameo in the third one.
Beautiful.
Oh, and Chris Jericho has a cameo in as well. He does get eaten.
Well.
So do Penn and Teller, annoyingly.
Oh, sorry, Carl.
I like Penn and Teller.
You like sharks as well, though, so maybe it's like the best. Of
Yeah, but
both
but anyway, we're getting well off topic
Well
talking about
off topic.
Sharknado. I also want to say I think Shizuka's arc was a bit sped up for this one.
It was a bit rushed.
You don't-
Like basically, it's just I don't want to join you. One montage, we're immediately best friends.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I think you needed to take that time to show. You don't have to show it in exactly the same amount
Like
of time.
even in the manga, even in the anime and manga around that point, she wasn't like fully on board with it.
No.
I think on board with like being with Tendo and Kencho. It was more just seeing Tendo like this has reminded me of me with my father. I want him out of this.
Yeah, and also they put her in where the third flight attendant is as well, don't they? So she does have more.
Yeah,
of a part
why
to
is
the
she
story.
in the flight attendant of the dead spit?
Again, it's condensing because the time that she officially joins them is at the aquarium,
Yeah.
My personal,
which was their final goal instead of Tendo's parents.
this might sound controversial. My personal opinion, I would have cut if I was doing based on the way the film went. I would have cut the whole flight attendant arc
Really?
entirely.
I don't think it needed to be a full 200
Well,
minutes.
if you're not going to have the third flight attendant there, which actually is a big part of Akira's character, character development in that early stages, then there's no point in it being there. It's actually kind of a bit of a superfluous arc if you take that aspect
Yeah, I
out
see what
of
you
it.
mean by that. Yeah.
Well, I guess they just used it to bring Shizuka in, which I feel like it doesn't make it entirely pointless.
Yeah, but I think the way Shizuka was introduced and brought into the group in the original is very well handled. I mean, I actually was worried when we started Zon 100, and I'd actually read the manga. I thought, if they spread this out, people are going to not like Shizuka because they're going to find her very cold and they're going to think she's annoying. But to my surprise, they actually didn't. That opinion didn't happen. I thought people weren't going to like her till we got to the truck stop of the dead arc. But I will say, this one, I think the actress playing her nails the part.
Yeah.
I just think the writing sometimes lets her down a little bit.
Yeah.
A bit, yeah.
I think one thing that's not quite as
I feel one side bit with Shizuka. In this one, they made her into like a major action, almost like a major action star, which she wasn't entirely in the manga. Like as an example, she wasn't like going up to zombies, beating the shit out of them with batons. She was more like she will more be trying to avoid them at all costs.
Yeah, like you remember the Sushi of the Dead arc where she basically becomes Kong Ming and does the strategy.
Yes.
And they do direct allusions to Kong Ming.
Meanwhile,
Yeah, the fan.
Yeah, they actually did.
Oh, I completely missed that.
I could not see that bit without thinking Jan Jan, cheeky ban ban.
Same. I had it completely in my head for the rest of that
I
episode.
didn't even clock it.
So they do.
Yeah, like Akira and Beatrice were the two who were like the battle. Meanwhile, Kendo was just the distraction because he just kept stripping naked and getting the zombies to chase after
I
them.
will stress. I think I could see them trying to do it in sort of like readdress the gender balance that Shizuka didn't get much action in.
Yeah.
But I think that missed the point that
character.
what Shizuka brought to the role made up for it.
Yes, exactly.
And again, if you wanted the action girl in the show, it was Beatrix.
Yeah.
I mean, that opening scene of her with the samurai armor is
absolutely,
amazing.
Yeah.
Again, it's like, why did no one else think to do that in a zombie movie?
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing
because it doesn't really have one in Japan.
the thing I will say about we'll go on to the zombie effects in a minute. One of the things I like about Zom 100, and I sort of thought about this in a thing, is that Zom 100 remembers what a lot of zombie TV shows and movies forget to do or devolve after a while. They've got to have characters that are likable, or you don't want any of them to survive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like The Walking Dead, for example. That was one of the things that really brought down that series from the second season on. No one was likable.
Yeah, I would say the comic books are better.
Yes.
Are different for that reason. They keep Rick, as an example, they keep Rick likable.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
But and again, it's that whole example of though, if you've got no one to root for, there's no reason. And a lot.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if people were cheering when Laurie died.
They were really a lot.
Yeah.
I was on Twitter at that time.
Oh yes, by the way, spoilers for a 10-year-old series.
That you can see all of on Disney Plus.
Sorry, just aside, I was listening to Magic podcasts and they were doing the Doctor Who cards and talking about like the context of the cards. And one of the podcasters was kind of like alluding to spoilers and he has no concept of what happens in Doctor Who. And at the very end of the episode, he spoiled something from the Jessica Jones series. And the other guy was like, fuck you, I'm in the middle of watching that. It came out like 6 years ago. It's fine.
You've had time.
You've had time.
But
Yeah, it's kind of like kind of a bad comparison, but I recently been getting into a comedian called Randy Feltface.
Not onto.
He's an Australian comedian who he's basically presents himself as a blue puppet.
Oh, okay, fun.
And he mentioned he was talking about how in a crowd he called out someone said they were alone, and he made a joke about someone like, see, comedy's for everyone, even those who can't get laid. And turns out, and after that, everyone was silent. And he went backstage, and they said, yeah, the woman who called out at the beginning, her husband died. I was just like, oh my god, I feel so bad. When did this happen? 2013. Oh, get over it!
Oh, my favourite though. The thing about Zom 100 actually, one of the big criticisms I've seen for it, and this came particularly when Chapter 57, which was great by the way, came out. I noticed a lot of people saying the characters have too much plot armor. I'm like, yeah, but the problem I have is that I'm seeing way too many shows at the minute where the characters don't have enough plot armor. So there's a bunch of characters you like, they die way too soon.
And plus, a lot of people forget. Plus, I think that criticism ignores the fact that Zom 100 is just to have fun.
Yeah,
it just have that level of tragedy in, but a lot of it is just having fun with it.
Plus, if the characters are around long enough, if some of them do die, it's going to hit more.
Yeah.
Like one of the problems
Like that's one of my problems with Cyberpunk Edge Runners. It started killing off the characters too early. If they left it till like the last few episodes, it would have hit much harder.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But the problem I have again, I think the thing about Zom 100 as well is there's not enough fun.
Yeah,
shows like that.
They squeeze it into that kind of montagey bit, don't they? That seems to be where all the stuff happens. Like, you know, him actually crossing off the parts of his list.
Yeah, it gets way more like that in later chapters. There's actually quite a bit of an episodic nature to it after after we get past the anime conclusion.
Yeah. Right.
I do still like how in the show, in the film, they don't have him. Like they don't immediately have him write down all 100 things. They do keep to the manga, saying he's making it up as he goes along.
And then it becomes more of a group bucket list.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
One of the things I will say, if you get to later chapters, the creators played a lot of Resident Evil. That's all I can say. Yeah, he's played a lot of Resident Evil to such an extent. I'm wondering if Capcom's going to get on the phone at some point and give him a cease and desist.
Don't tell me they get Chainsaw Guy in.
I'm saying nothing.
They'll probably
they do, don't they? They fucking do.
Nice. But there is I will tell you one thing. There is a hunk character. in
Hook
it.
character.
You know the guy who at the end of
the-
Resident Evil 2, the guy who runs through the sewers and into the police station. Remember, I did it briefly after I beat the story mode.
I can't remember.
It's like a silent. It's like a faceless silent character.
Oh, okay, right.
But that's all I'm going to say about that thing. But I will say there's a lot of Resident Evil stuff in the later
Okay,
chapters.
fun.
That's to be expected, though.
One of the things I think Zone 100 kind of didn't emphasise so much was how oppressive the workplace was. Is it
Yeah.
just me?
Yeah, I did feel a bit like I feel like it really dampened the effect that Nintendo has by saying, "Oh, he's only been in for 1 year instead of the 3 that was in the."
Yes.
Like
Yeah, that's a good
that they
point.
should have kept the whole. He's been there for 3 years.
Yeah.
Because
Actually, that's kind of a problem with the film. It doesn't feel like it goes as far as the anime does.
it feels like we don't want us to seem too ridiculous,
but we don't want it to seem too dark.
but too dark. So we're kind of we kind of backed ourselves into a corner there. Whereas I think at some points of it, I think they should have embraced the ridiculousness a little bit more.
I think they rushed the setup and tried to compress too much into the main bulk of the story, if that makes sense.
But again, I think they could have got away with that by getting rid of the flight attendant arc.
That's a really good point. I think they could have. I think they could have shortened the film or maybe lengthened the intro by doing.
I would have got rid of the flight attendant arc and lengthened the
I
the
feel
intro.
like they had the. I feel like they've had the. I feel like considering the film, the beginning where we see him at the workplace is kind of the right length, because again you can't if you have too much if you like have it say like because it's 10 minutes it's like 10 minutes long if you have it be like 15 or 20 that's like a good 8 or 6 of your film gone.
I will say
sure,
actually
yeah.
we've been very negative actually, and I think we should be positive because there is a
Yeah.
lot of positives in this. Like it does capture the Zone 100 feel a lot of the time in a way
Yes.
that I
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
expecting.
absolutely. When it comes to like an adaptation, it's like very, very close.
Like I would say it's closer than say, for example, live action Bleach. I think Bleach takes a lot more liberties with its story.
I would have said live action Full Metal Alchemist.
That's a
Yeah,
better
no,
example.
that's a much better one. Yeah.
In fact, Full Metal Alchemist actually because it's taking. But the thing about Full Metal Alchemist is because it takes so much early on, one for one. When it does veer off,
It's no
it makes
more
even
noticeable.
less sense.
Yeah.
because
I'd say with Full Metal Alchemist, I feel like the problem with that is that it tries to throw in too much from the anime.
yeah, it's
And because of that, it makes the film feel bloated and rushed.
Yes. Yeah.
and again, I still can't get over how bad Gluttony looked in that.
Oh, I was just thinking.
That's what you're pissed off about. I'm so pissed off about how badly they did Winry.
I'm also remembering just the speed he was walking towards those guardrailways. Like he's very
Yeah,
slowly
oh no.
catching us
Jeez.
up.
It's like that scene from Austin Powers. No.
Yeah. Oh no, this horrifying threat. Unbelievable.
It's like in Deadpool. You're about to be killed by a Zamboni. Tell me where Francis is, or you're gonna die in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I will say actually, the actors they got to play each of the roles do, for the most part, nail it.
Yeah, they do. They do a really good job, but they
yeah.
do a good job with what they have. Like the actor for Tendo, as an example, does kind of bring a lot of the life that the anime
Yeah,
character did.
Yeah.
Tendo is the best
Yes, I would agree with
one of the translation. I will also say I like the chief in this one. I think they did do a good job making him a slimy bastard, although
Yeah.
I think they went a bit overboard with it at times.
I think so.
I feel like they did a good job with that. I feel like it would have been unfaithful if they did sort of give him a bit of a redemption around the end.
No, I didn't want him to get a redemption, but I thought at times like, okay, you already did this bit twice already. You don't need to do it a third time.
Yeah, but I think it kind of emphasizes how much of a slimeball he is.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that they did that scene where it's like, we think we've got it, and the shark just spears him.
Yeah.
Spear!
Yeah.
Bagar King!
One thing I'm surprised by, actually.
He doesn't watch wrestling, and even
I
he
do
gets
not,
that
yeah.
one.
Just going off topic a bit. One thing I find surprising is that in the anime, obviously, when he's going to get beer, he goes down and like neighbors are trapped in trapped in the place. When he comes back, there's blood there, and so in the anime he thinks they're dead. In the film, they're just like, oh hey, we're alive.
Yeah, they show.
They show up at the aquarium.
You know, I thought that was a bit of a weird one.
I was thinking, where did all the blood come from then?
The thing is, for
That's a
me,
good question.
if the fact they showed up again, I initially thought that took away a bit from Tendo's arc because I felt that was the whole thing catalyst for him to do the bucket list. The fact he did just see him that morning and then they died.
I mean, he didn't know they were alive. So that I do still think that does have that.
That's what redeemed them. That's why I went, okay, that can't actually. And then I went in retrospect. No, actually, that you can still have your cake and eat it.
Yeah.
Without it.
I was a bit. However, with the woman being pregnant, I was a little bit worried they're gonna do the whole "oh, my water's bursting."
Oh,
bit,
I am so sick of that trope.
Yeah, but luckily they didn't. They just went, nah, she's not having a baby. She's just pregnant.
Yeah.
I've just realised now it's the 6th anniversary of Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh
Wow, already done.
Hey.
I feel like that came out like 2 years ago.
But anyway,
that came out like the start of the Switch.
but anyway,
that was just after we moved into Faultless Streets.
No, it was no. I was playing it still when we were moving in Bolton Street, so we tested out the TV when I was playing it.
I remember.
But here's the thing. Actually, that's a good point. What's next for Zom 100? Because I'm thinking video game might be a good choice for them to go down that route.
I don't know what they would do with it.
Yeah,
though.
I think that would be hard to implement.
You could go Telltale on it and make it a Walking Dead clone.
I just
I don't know though, because Walking Dead works because it's a dark story.
Yeah.
I mean,
To be fair,
I would say the closest thing to it I could probably think of is Lollipop Chainsaw, but that is going too far.
I know what you mean. Yes, but here's a thought I had as well. Actually, one thing I did I don't remember if I mentioned it when we talked about it in the seasonal roundup, but the anime actually has a higher body count than the manga.
Really?
How so?
Well, the Truck Stop of the Dead arc, for example, barely anyone dies in the manga. In the anime, we see a lot more on-screen deaths.
Yeah, there is kind of. Well, I think because they sandwich in the shark.
No, I mean in the anime as well. The anime as well also has a higher body count than the manga does.
Yeah.
So I found it interesting that both of these adaptations went for a higher body count. Also, I do like the use of music actually in the film version.
Yeah, it does feel like I would say it does feel like there are a bit too many montages, but considering the nature of the film, it fits. It's not like it's, for example, the Death Note one, where it's quite clear they're having montages for the sake of montages.
Yeah. Can I ask actually something before we move on to anything else? What do you think of the zombie effects, like the makeup?
Really good.
Yeah,
like, goddamn, they were really good. But, like, the actors they got to play zombies as well were fantastic.
Yeah, I will say as well, the effect, they actually had good effects. The makeup is great.
Yeah.
But what was it again? I had a point here as well. I was really annoyed with myself because I have a point. It's the fact they did make the zombies look scary, I will say.
Yes.
But and also you could sometimes tell when they were sort of like using digital effects to increase the number of zombies in a scene. But for what they did, they actually did a pretty good job, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree.
The only ropey effect is kind of the zombie shark, but even then, it's not that terrible.
Yeah,
it's only in it for like the last portion of the film. It's not.
It's already a ridiculous thing. Period.
Yes,
You might as well run with it.
I knew it was going to be building to that the whole time as well. Like you knew, because I think that's such a good final thing.
Can I be brutally honest? I didn't actually watch it, but I knew for a fact because of some online chatter the zombie shark was where they were ending it.
Yeah.
So I thought, we're not going to get to do the Truck Stop of the Dead thing. So I was actually quite glad when I watched it and was like, they're combining it with Truck Stop of the Dead.
Yes.
That actually makes total fucking sense now that I think about it.
I like it as a finale. I think what they did, I think that was a really smart decision.
They sort of combined Akira's two finest moments.
Yeah, it's almost like now rather than trying to get to Nintendo's parent folks' place from the beginning, now it's just like we're going to try and get the aquarium because Nintendo really wants to be a superhero and the shark suit would help. And also, I actually looked up for what shark suits look like because I thought the one in the film looked more like a Power Rangers one or something. Turns out the ones in the film are more accurate to the ones in the anime.
Wow!
I'm not kidding.
They've a lot of
including the visor.
Yeah, apparently.
Really? Shark scientists like using because the shark can't get a grip.
Oh,
and also it makes sense because you need like the snorkel mask.
Yeah, I thought that because I was thinking like, why on earth would they have the visor? And of course the mask must fit underneath.
Yeah, so
it's a mask, so the mask fits, and they got clear vision.
I looked it up thinking that was just so ridiculous. Is it accurate? Oh my god, it's accurate.
I'm glad you looked at it because it looks so Super Sentai already.
That's what I was thinking of. It looks
because the old ones were like chainmail. But it makes a lot. Again, I can't believe no characters in zombie movies have ever thought, let's get a shark suit from somewhere.
And I did find it funny that when Tendo was on the floor being bitten by the zombies, none of them thought to actually go for his neck, which was just like fully exposed. They were all just biting at his arms and going, "Oh, thank God for the shark suits."
Yeah, I do at the very least like it's also like, it still really hurts.
Yes, pinches. Ow!
I didn't realise that was still going to hurt. Another thing I will say is they did an incredibly good job with, considering this film did not have a very high budget.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about. Yeah,
but I do like the fact though, considering they've got the US distribution, Netflix, and they've got both this and the anime. The Netflix are starting to get behind Zom 100.
So, was this a Netflix production? Did
It's
Japan
no,
make it,
it's
or-
not a Netflix production, but Netflix did buy the streaming
They
rights to
distributed
it.
it.
Yeah.
So that's how Netflix doesn't actually finance a lot of productions anymore. They tend to, they don't produce a lot of productions of their own. They tend to finance other productions or buy other people's productions for distribution rights.
In other words, the Xbox approach.
Yeah, they're very similar to the Xbox approach, except Netflix is more buying distribution. Actually, it's more akin to what Sony does a lot of time with like Square Enix, in the sense that they buy they buy exclusivity without buying the actual company.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So
Meanwhile, Xbox is more like, it's mine now.
Yes.
and
That makes
incidentally,
sense.
Oh, that called you, it's mine now.
You made this. I made this.
I will say,
Yeah.
I will say,
Actually, that's the Netflix approach when you take a look at all the anime. That was my main rant with Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
Because they were just like, Netflix presents an association with Aniplex. And you just think, you didn't fucking make this.
Yeah.
All you did was go to the show store and just went, that's that
You
one.
did not associate.
But can I actually stress this one on Netflix? There actually is a very good video that Bennett the Sage does on Anime Abandoned. It's the second part of his Cowboy Bebop live action his live action video, and he actually goes into the whole detail about Netflix. He gives an analysis on like Netflix's approach to getting these live action anime and what they're trying to do. So like basically trying to make their own MCU with a bunch of properties, because they don't own a lot of properties of their own, like Disney. That's one of the things that a lot of these companies, when they try to make a cinematic universe, don't get. You have to own a lot of properties that people are really endearing to.
Yes.
And you need to make the other thing I think people forget about the MCU when it was still good was you have to make good films. The universe will then work itself around it.
Yes.
Like Iron Man, if that hadn't been successful, it would have still been a really good Iron Man movie.
One of my biggest problems with The Flash is that it felt like they were trying to establish a universe first and make a Flash film second.
Exactly.
Because like you saw so many superheroes come out to the point where you could argue this could have easily been a Batman film or a Supergirl film, and you just think, try doing your own thing first.
Yeah.
Even though it is, I mean, you can say all you want that it's based on Flashpoint Paradox, but
still, Flashpoint Paradox is not done in a vacuum.
Yeah,
and also Flashpoint is an event comic.
Yeah.
And I mean, for Marvel,
exactly.
I mean,
It's a
for
combination of those
Marvel, they made films to establish these characters first. They made them have their own films. Even like in the later stages, when they were introducing most of the times they were introducing a new superhero, and they got their own thing.
Like Ant-Man got his own movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy got their own movie.
Yeah. Again, no one knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy was until that film came out, and now Marvel can never underplay them ever again.
Yeah.
I think someone. Sorry, just going off what you were saying.
Yeah,
before,
it's okay. We're going very off topic.
It's all right,
We were more going on about Netflix's business model, which
Yeah.
kind of borrows into moving between these subject matters. So again, they are going to all these anime studios saying, "What have you got?" That's why they're trying to get Gundam off the ground. That's why they're trying, no pun intended. That's why they're trying to. That's why they've gone. Say, can we have One Piece? To Oda, and they've gone. They've tried it with Bebop and failed miserably. But the other thing is with Netflix, if they don't generate eyeballs to watching their programs,
Grant us eyes.
they have to get rid of it because they can't financially keep up with it.
Yes.
So prime example actually, but it's interestingly is that Netflix never releases their viewing figures. We never actually find out how many people are watching
No, which is annoying.
their programs.
I mean, it's probably so they can. I mean, in all fairness, Amazon does, and you've seen what we revealed through that.
Okay.
37% of people finishing Rings of Power.
Yeah, literally.
I will say,
And how much did they spend on it? Like several billion, I think.
I think it's like 1.6 billion or something.
Insane.
aren't they,
Probably
aren't they doing a new
seasons.
season with different showrunners for that one?
Hopefully.
I think so.
You'd fucking
Uh,
hope
they,
so,
they have
because
like
they're much money on it.
they are doing a second season. For
We
it.
know that that's happening with Halo. Halo's getting new showrunners for season 2.
Yeah.
I didn't
Which,
watch
thank
it.
God for that, because the showrunners of the first season freely admitted that they didn't know anything about Halo before they went into it.
How could
Yeah.
you do that? I don't understand that. How
I
on
mean-
earth could...
They got showrunners to do The Witcher, despite the fact they admit they don't like the books.
Can I? That being said,
Insane.
can I just? I think that so we're all agreed. Zon 100, pretty good, but it didn't really leave that much of a mark on us.
Better, not as good as the anime and manga, but
Yeah.
if you're looking for a fun film,
Like,
it's
If,
good.
if you like the franchise already,
I gave
I'd
it
say watch
I
it.
give it 3.5 out of 5 Dan Daniels. Anyway, Reese, what do you think of Zone 100? Fantastic.
Ren, I'd say it's a perfect 7 out of 10 movie.
Yeah,
I see
yeah. I'd say I wouldn't say go out of your way to watch it. I'd say if you already like the franchise,
If you really like the
you're gonna
franchise,
enjoy
there's
it.
some
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
changes
Yeah.
they made.
I'd also say if you don't really like anime but think this sounds good, I say give the live action version a watch.
Just for the love of God, watch it in its original Japanese. Just don't watch it
Yeah,
in that
no, I
weird
tried watching
English
it.
dub.
I watched it in Japanese. I didn't watch it in dub.
I watched it briefly in the dub, and then I'm like, oh no, this is not working.
Yeah.
Swap to
And,
Japanese.
and
like,
also, as far as live action anime adaptation go, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah,
It's
better than most.
Better than most.
better than most. I will definitely agree. So let's.
Which seeing as we gave it 7 out of 10, it's kind of a bad thing.
Yeah.
Can we move on then to One Piece Netflix? Because I
Yes.
think this one we definitely have a lot more to talk about with
Yes.
Yeah.
it. Now, it's 8 episodes. Each one's a 1 hour
Ish.
ish. So hang on a second. Reese did give me his thoughts.
I think we all say, well, at the very 3 of us, we're all fans of One Piece.
Yeah.
Ren clearly is the biggest one because he's caught up on the anime.
Hang on a second.
Mostly.
Reese's statement was, I have seen the first 3 episodes and I really enjoyed it. It's a big step in writing and direction compared to the last attempt with Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say I'm a fairly big fan of One Piece. I've been reading the manga. I've just got into the Skypiea arc.
Yes. Oh, cool. So
I finished. Last point I was at, Frankie just joined the. I was up to episode 300. Frankie's joined the crew, and we finished the Water 7 arc.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So you're both like quite far as. I mean, you're far ahead of where the live action.
Oh
is.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean the anime, the live action doesn't even go to the Grand Line. It's all in the East Blue.
Yeah. So I should stress, this is spoilers leading up to the Arlong end of the Arlong arc. So
Yes.
that's episode
At the
1.
end of our long part.
So I'd say that's episodes 1 to.
Let me have a look. I'm gonna have to Google.
I'd say
It's like 20 odd episodes. 20
yeah, it's a little bit before. I say it's a bit before the Alabaster arc.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's the
yeah,
first big arc after
yeah.
East Blue.
The next one is
The Eternity Dragon arc, which was rubbish.
The what?
The Eternity Dragon arc, everyone forgets it. Is that one where they...
Was it filler?
It was a massive filler.
Right. Okay. Well,
Is that in the anime? Because I don't think that's in the manga.
Yeah,
It's an anime-only one.
Yeah, it's not in the
Okay,
manga.
right,
Yeah, it's not in the
so
manga.
it ends roughly about episode 44 of the anime.
So episode 4... So
20,
it's like, so
27
I'd say
chapters of the manga.
mini spoilers for some things that come after it, but
Yeah.
major spoilers for the rest of Netflix One Piece, and to a certain extent up to episode 44 of the anime, and that's around chapter...
I'm gonna double check.
Chapter 27. It said the
chapter
Arlong
27 of the,
No,
of the
it can't be
manga.
27. One sec.
So that's when the Arlong arc ended.
One sec.
But yeah, so I mean, I thought
Actually,
it was really
normally,
good.
normally I was about to say I want to go to your first, Ren, because you've got the most One Piece experience out of us, because
Yes.
you've read a lot of the manga and you've watched a lot of the anime.
Actually, the manga I haven't read very much of, but the anime I've watched a lot of. Yes.
Um,
But Elliot's read the manga fairly recently. If I'm
yeah,
thinking.
fairly recently.
Yeah, I've
'cause
been reading
It's
through
only
it.
shown Jump Up.
Yes.
One sec. Actually, no, it's 100 chapters.
Well, you got that one wrong, Ren.
It's
Oh, I'm thinking maybe. Yeah.
it's 100. Yeah, it's 100 chapters. I was about to say it can't be 47 episodes and 27 chapters.
Yeah, I know the anime does. The anime draws out more of the arcs rather
What
than
am I
condenses
thinking of
them.
then? Yeah. Okay, so I don't know.
But
where I got
anyway, moving swiftly on.
that. Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at in terms of like live action. Ren, you really liked
Oh,
this.
it does. Oh, it does also mention the Logetown arc in the East Blue.
Yeah, so that's the next arc. After
Yeah, that
everything
happened. So
ends.
okay,
Yeah.
up until at the end of the Arlen part.
Then the
yeah.
then the Log Town arc happens,
Which
and
I
then they
like.
have that stupid Eternity Dragon filler, which I really hope they skip in the live action one.
They will. It wasn't in the manga.
And then we go to the Alabaster arc. So I think the next season is going to really revolve around the Alabaster arc.
I imagine it will.
And we know there is going to be a second season. They've already confirmed the second season's been commissioned.
I tell you what, I think right. Sorry, just
So
I know
anyway.
we're not actually talking about the show, but I think the first 2 episodes, if they do another 8-episode structure, first 2 episodes will be Logtown. Second 2 will be meeting.
Vivi.
No. We've got to get Chopper.
Yeah, but he comes after they meet Vivi.
Yeah, that comes after they meet Vivi.
Is it after Alabaster?
Yeah.
No,
During
they. It's when they first meet Vivi and fight against Burroquworks for the first time. Then they meet Chopper.
And of course they
Then afterwards they go
yes.
to Alabaster.
And of course, they were
Oh.
setting up Baroque Works in
Yeah.
in the show because Zorro's first appearance is someone from Baroque Works approaching him.
Because I think that actually does occur in the manga and story, but it may be off screen or something.
It doesn't happen in the anime, if nothing else.
I think it's mentioned that it occurs.
But
Maybe.
The I will say,
I like them laying the seeds very
can I,
early.
Elliot,
Also, just very off topic. Dog.
Donkey dog.
Donkey dog.
Elliot,
Dog, dog, dog.
Elliot, what did you think of One Piece Netflix?
I really liked it. I really I'm so shocked. I'm actively saying this. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Can I say it completely exceeded my expectation.
Same.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
like wow.
I actually think they did a very good job westernizing One Piece.
Yes, agree.
Which I thought was really hard to do, but they managed to do it and keep the spirit of it, that Oda brought into it.
I mean, they worked. If I remember, they worked very, very close with Ichiro Oda.
we were all dreading this.
Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be.
Yeah,
like
we all.
this.
I mean, we all saw the trailer, the first trailer. Thought, oh my god, this looks. Oh my god, look at Buggy the Clown. He looks
Yeah.
so awful. Then it continued forward. I was just like, oh, this looks better. Then we saw things like we saw the actors interacting on
Yes.
Twitter, and we just thought, I want it to be good just
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them. Then it came out, I was just like, fuck, it's
Yeah,
good.
I was watching a few interviews with the actors, and I actually thought, like, wow, they really kind of encaptured the characters.
I will
you know,
say
the
that
actors,
that's
sorry.
it's very clear everyone involved liked One Piece.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like you can tell the showrunners as well love One Piece because you're like, there's so many small details I
Yes.
absolutely love. Like
Oh.
I guess that's an example. Who's in command? The leader of the Black Cat Pirates.
Kuro.
Cool. Yeah. How I loved how he just
Yes, they
like
kept that in. I know.
I just
yes.
looked so that just like, holy shit, they love the
Yes,
show.
I know. Yeah,
There's a
loads
bunch,
of good
there's
details.
also a lot of moments where I've all like they're going to take out the ridiculous element of this, and they're like, oh no, they didn't. They're just going to say, yeah, this is here because
Yeah,
It's still here.
It's like even with Garp throwing the cannonball himself, which was such a big part
or
in
like
the anime.
or like Mary looking like
Yes.
that.
Oh my! I'm not being
Yeah.
funny. I actually started to shed a tear when I saw Mary for the first time.
Just like, oh my god. it's
Well,
so
you know
good.
what happens
Yeah.
in the Skype here arc. I'm not going to spoil anything, but
But the way they recreated the Going Mary as well.
yes,
Is
and even
excellent.
made it look like
I
it
thought-
fit.
I thought it was called the Merry-Go, not the Going Merry.
Mary goes later on.
Ah.
Won't
Okay.
spoil. But yeah, like because even the depiction in the anime, like it's very cartoonish. It's the sheep's head, but in the anime they actually made it fit within a live action world. I think the
Yeah.
way that they translated the characters' costumes,
Yeah.
their looks,
I
their
will say a
mannerisms.
couple of the costumes do veer on. That's a good
Yeah,
cosplay.
Yeah, I mean,
That unicyclist that
Yeah.
Buggy's mate.
yeah, I mean, I'm not massive on the fact that Luffy kept changing his clothes in every arc.
I think that's what happens
Like-
in the anime and manga though.
I don't know.
He
how
changed his
that-
clothes a couple of times.
Yeah,
but
Yeah, but I don't think quite that often. Like he's still not wearing like red. At one point, he was like wearing that sort of blue sports jacket.
Yeah,
You know,
he
I
tends to change on every arc. I think.
Yeah.
Really?
Definitely in the anime, yeah.
He changes a couple of times.
I think
Can
all
I
the
also
characters do, most.
remember I said I had a hot take?
Oh yes, yeah. What's your hot take?
I think this is my favourite version of Luffy.
Really?
Yeah, I think I like the fact they cut a few of his dumber elements to it and they
Yeah.
made him a more well-rounded character.
I don't know why. I like the fact.
I said
in
it was a
that
hot
in-
take.
No,
I know.
it's an interesting
Yeah,
take.
I do think this is a good Luffy. Don't get me wrong, but I just like the fact that in the anime, how he's just kind of an idiot, but that idiocy really draws people in.
Yeah, because I think like when
I think actually
And
there's,
like,
there is
also-
that great moment where he says, "I'm not dumb."
Yeah.
And like also,
seriously.
Yes.
and like also that moments like how because of his idiocy, he like refuses to see when a situation is getting really bad
Yes.
and like never gives up.
Because when Claire has asked me like what's Luffy like as a character, like when I'm talking about the anime, like, and I try and describe him, I just
Don't
say
get on the laptop, Pepper.
he's just a massive idiot, frankly.
Yeah.
And I think this actually fleshes him out a lot more, and certainly within a live action context, makes him a protagonist. You know, he's
Yeah.
like a driving force. All of the characters unite underneath,
No.
behind him.
Yeah.
In a different way than in the anime, but in a really
Move
good way.
over
I
there,
think.
Pepper.
Hello, lovely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still think I still think it's kind of the same. Like he spends time with them, and like unlike a lot of other people, he doesn't diss on their dream, saying it's impossible, because his dream is outlandish
Yes,
itself.
absolutely.
And so,
And
I feel like that all of it's a good way of like drawing them closer to him.
I also like the fact that Kobe plays more of a role this time.
I found that surprising.
It's a good
honestly.
part. Yeah, they
Because
really...
because I know Kobe shows up later in the series.
Yes.
But I wasn't expecting to like get so much of him.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
no,
basically
design.
transport a bunch of his. They basically transport a lot of his character arc from later in the series into earlier ones. The same
Yes.
with Luffy's grandfather being in it.
Yeah,
Because Luffy's grandfather wasn't at all in.
No, yeah, he's only in it a
First
little
few.
bit. But like we definitely, because we know that everything that happens with Kobe theoretically happens. He doesn't actually meet up with Luffy multiple times, but we know that he undergoes training. He joins the Marines, and we don't see him until much later. But actually,
I just find it interesting that they had this very the character was very pivotal early on,
Yeah.
and then we don't see him for ages. I thought that was a decent change they made, because I thought that I can see why they did it, because they sort of thought for an audience that may never have watched the original One Piece,
Yeah.
that's going to seem really weird.
I think it's also just because Oda's kind of also trying to establish how big the world is. Like
Yes.
you will meet these characters again, but you might not meet them for ages.
Yes. And can I say, there was no need to make Helmeppo that sexy.
Yeah.
Oh my god! He's just posing naked in front of the mirror. I was like, I've never been attracted to this
Yeah,
character.
I'm just like, this guy's meant to be a dog. Why am I getting a boner?
Yeah, what is this?
Helmeppo. I do like the fact they did actually increase Helmeppo's screen time
Yes.
this time as well. Which I will say as well though.
Because I know again. I know like later in the anime he shows up and does he like show up like really badass?
Yeah, him and Kobe are really badass.
Yeah.
when they do
Which
show
I
up
just
later.
find hilarious.
Yes.
Because they're like at the very beginning he's just like, my daddy will beat you up.
Actually, yeah.
Can I just add to? I will say one of the more ropier costumes, and I hate to say because the actor does nail the role, is Axe Hand Morgan.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like his costume.
In all fairness, I think the thing that kind of ruined
The
it for me
jaw
is
does look
the
it's gonna-
jaw is meant to
Yes.
be the jaw in the anime in the manga is like actually steel.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
meanwhile it looks like it's just a
just on
mouthpiece.
his- Yeah,
it
exactly.
looks like it's going to fall off any second,
Yeah.
and I was kind of like, no, this is kind of taking me
Yeah,
out
it
of
doesn't kind of replace his
So
actual-
I will
yeah.
say one bit doesn't take me out of it. The action scenes, they're brilliant.
Oh, the
Yeah.
action
Yeah.
scenes
Oh,
are
they're brilliant.
really,
Yeah.
really good.
I particularly like the first fight with Nami, Zoro, and Luffy, and they just cutting. They were doing that one take and cutting back and forth
Yes,
between
that's
them.
really
Yeah.
cool. I love the last scene.
Arlong versus Luffy.
Arlong versus Luffy
Yeah.
with the what is it? The battle axe.
Yeah.
Going to battle axe.
I do-
So cool.
I'm a little bit upset that we don't see Zoro use origiri at
Yeah,
all.
and he
Like,
doesn't really make use of three sword style very often.
not very often, no.
Again, I think they were thinking that. I think they're thinking they want to save that.
I also
Yeah,
think
or
it's
like,
quite hard to
like,
influence.
because it would have been cool if, like, you know, at the beginning, because Luffy says, every good fighter shouts out their battle moves, and he
Yeah.
just, like, goes, no, they don't. If at the very end, he shouted the origiri.
Yeah,
just
that
like
would've
he's
been
warming
good.
up to it. I'm glad they did that with Sanji, though.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
they got him to say,
Mutton shot.
Also,
Really?
can I also add to the fact, never watch any of the episodes around the Barati if you're hungry.
No, absolutely. They look amazing.
yeah.
And again, I will say they actually did do their research, because most of that stuff does work in a culinary sense.
Yeah.
Yes. I think, there's
By the way, I did have to. Thank God, I actually did have some tuna when he was cooking tuna. As
Oh,
well.
well, very nice. You
It
felt like
was
you-
complete coincidence, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
I didn't know that was going to happen, but I basically.
I can just imagine you, like, eating it and just, like,
Yeah.
just, like,
You felt like you were part of the world.
Just shock.
I think that they kept the One Piece feel so well, like, because it's so cartoonish and so over the top. And so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, they still kept it. Like, and I love how, like, I guess. Actually, should we talk about the characters? Like, how
Yeah.
they adapt the characters?
I think they did a pretty good job.
Luffy. First of all, Luffy's
Luffy's
great.
great. I love.
Like,
Luffy.
I love how he sort of keeps his naivety. He does keep spouting, "I'm going to become king of the pirates."
Yeah, his
to, like,
carefree
everyone,
attitude.
everyone he
He's
sees.
still really charismatic. He's like
Yeah.
driven.
The actor they got to play him is fantastic.
Perfect fit for the role.
Like absolutely, they did a really good job typecasting him.
I also think they did a good job with Nami as well. She's really good.
She's a lot more like sour.
They're a bit of a gripe with Nami and Zoro. They're a bit gloomy.
Yes,
like compared to their anime counterparts.
One thing I said
We're not a crew.
One thing I said to Claire is that Zorro isn't nearly as like loutish and rude as he is.
Yeah,
because
like,
he's just like a drunk asshole basically.
Meanwhile,
he's asleep most of the time.
Meanwhile, in the show, it's like he's really focused on training and whatnot, and like it does still have those La La Land life elements.
Yeah.
They
kept in the fact that he can't navigate, which I love.
Yeah, well, once they did that, which
they did it a few times.
Did they?
Yeah, there was like one bit like.
Yeah, I remember like when they met Usopp, he was like, he ran into Luffy just like, how did you know I was? I thought I was going to the house.
Yeah, there's that bit, and when they're in the house, what was it? Luffy gets up in the middle of like midnight snack, and he's like, "Why are you here? I was looking for a drink."
Yeah,
it's just like upstairs.
See, one of my favourite changes is the one that Elliot said actually had serve a bit of a plot hole, which is I'm quite glad they got rid of the Admiral for the Baratier arc. Because he's a rubbish villain.
Yeah,
yes.
The reason why I'm a bit disappointed and I mentioned this on the way up, is because of that, it leaves a plot hole, which is that Zeph just lets Luffy go. He doesn't like finish the chores.
Yeah.
Because in the anime and manga, that was sort of like Luffy helped the Baratier against him. I was just like, okay, yep, you helped us, you're free to go. You paid off your tab. Instead, it's just like, oh, you fight all along, you got the shit being out of you? Oh, I get off.
Yeah, I think, that's a good point,
actually. Along is also a bit of an interesting choice. They made a bunch of interesting choices around here.
To be honest, I actually quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed his characterization.
They're kind of trying to do a whole sympathetic villain, but then they're also trying to turn him into a bit of a...
I wouldn't say sympathetic. I say misguided.
Yeah, but I don't think that works for Arlong. I think Arlong needs to be a complete pure evil villain.
I mean, you do kind of... No, you do still see that with him, like saying... I'm pretty sure in the manga he was like going on about a couple of times how the fish folk were.
Well, to be honest, I mean, the later you get into One Piece, the more they feed into this sort of like second class citizen sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's more they brought forward something that was already there.
Arlong becomes relevant later on actually. So when you
no spoilers for that one.
No, I won't. But sorry.
One character I need to give praise to, Usopp.
Yes,
Usopp's actor nailed him.
I'm so sad they didn't give him the nose, but equally...
But at the same time, they won't look ridiculous.
I know.
They also cut out the veggie pirates, though.
The veggie pirates?
Yeah, his three little underlings.
Oh, I know, the three little guys.
Yeah, like one actually, that's one gripe I have with that.
Django.
Yeah. Well, first, no Django, which I'm so upset by. But second is that... like when he left the village, like he didn't come back to everyone going, "Where's Usopp? Why isn't he shouting that the pirates are coming?"
Yeah.
That's the daily routine. Like it sure shows like they've either gotten so used to it or they actually kind of like it when it happens. Like some of them were using it as an alarm clock. As an example.
I think they really well reflected like Usopp's backstory and kind of how tragic and like why he does what he does. I really like that characterization.
Yeah, and like there's also just things. Like, I love how he's constantly lying, saying how he's a really great pirate. I love how he's, like, running all the time and just kind of gets a lucky shot.
Yeah.
Like, he just nails the character. I just love Usopp so much.
The one, Sanji as well. Sanji's fantastic.
Sanji is great, wow.
I tell you what, I couldn't tell his accent, but you know what?
It sounded French, but didn't.
So he's born in London. His parents, one of them's Spanish and the other one's Lebanese. So he does have like a Cockney twang, but he like with lots of other things. I couldn't. Interesting one.
Yeah, they did. Though they didn't keep saying crap all the time.
Yes,
they nailed the chemistry between Zoro and Sanji.
Yes, agree. Yeah,
actually, they also nailed Sanji and Zeph.
Yes, they did. Yeah, absolutely.
Like Zeph was such a good character. I want to see more of him.
I'm sad that they changed Sanji's like departure from Baratier with the bow on the floor. But I guess Western audience maybe
it's not going to translate as well.
Yeah, but I'm so happy like they said that they did that farewell bit where Zeph was like shouting.
Yeah.
And the two of them were shouting like really nice things about one another.
I thought they were going to leave it, and then they added that bit, and I was like, yes, thank God. Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, yes, they got it.
Yeah.
I will say as well, I think they did a very good job getting all the East Blue arc in 8 episodes.
Yes.
In 8 hours essentially, and
they
did. I actually thought initially, I'm not going to like Luffy's grandfather being pushed forward to this part of the story, but they really made it work.
Yeah.
I'm very happy you said that Luffy's grandfather does show up later in the series because I was very confused when I saw him.
Oh yes,
Because he didn't show up because he's not an Alabasta. From what I remember from what I read before with Skypiea, he isn't in that.
No, he shows up just after they get back from Skypiea, I think, or is it just after the Water 7 arc's done? No, I think it's just after the Water 7 arc is done. The thing is, as well, they'll probably end the next season with
after the Alabasta arc.
after the Alabasta arc. So Nico Robin joining the crew.
Yes, excellent.
So again, everyone's going to be wondering who they're going to get to play Nico Robin. That's going to be a tough role to get.
Yeah, I mean,
I wonder how they're gonna get people to play all of Baroque work.
how the fuck are they going to do Chopper? Not being funny.
Or
Like-
Mrs. Merry Christmas and stuff like that.
Oh, that would
Yeah,
be
like-
fun.
Yeah, like the mole. She's the mole one, right?
Yes.
Yes,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Which is weird. Why is she called Mrs. Merry Christmas if she's got mole
No
powers?
idea. Well, they're all named after like calendar dates and
The women are named as the calendar dates,
Or
and
just
the men
the
are
days
numbers.
of the week.
days of the week. Yeah,
Yeah,
double Sunday is Nico Robin, isn't it?
yeah. Mrs.
Yeah,
Mrs.
if I remember, Vivi was Miss Wednesday.
Was she a Brock?
Yeah, she's
she
undercover.
She was undercover for a while.
Fuck, wow, I can't even remember. Wow,
Yeah,
it's been that long.
she was undercover for a while, trying to like stop Crocodile from.
And how the hell are they going to do the giant bird as well? I'm excited. To
Oh, actually, yeah, all of the Alabaster arcs as well.
It's also again, Crocodile's going to be interesting in terms of the makeup effects. What they
Yes.
do with him.
So
Especially
much
'cause
to come.
And also, especially because in the Crocodile is one of the best villains
Yeah.
in the show.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How are they going to do the effects for him though? Like him constantly changing into sand.
Yeah, but again, the three roles they've got to cast for the next season are Ace, Chopper, and
Smoker.
Smoker.
I mean, they've already alluded to Smoker being there in the and
Nico Robin, they got to cast. They've got.
the doctor that Chopper's with.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Do we get Nico Robin's backstory during?
No, we don't get Nico
No,
Robin's
not
later
in
as
not in
well.
Alabasta. Not in
Damn
Alabasta.
it.
She's
Yeah,
like.
dead.
No, I know she's like at the end of Alabasta. She says she doesn't care about living anymore. Then
Yeah, she just wants to jump.
Luffy saves her.
Oh, I love
And-
One Piece. So good.
And then all of a sudden, it's just like, "Hi, I'm in your crew now."
Yeah.
Also-
I want to know so much about Nico Robin.
You've got-
She's great.
Unfortunately, we're
so
not going to
much
get to
to
that
come.
arc in the second season. So we're not going to see Usopp become Soe King
Yeah.
Oh well, that's
or
Frankie's.
Sniper King as he's known in the dub.
I'm just trying to think. So I think after Alabasta, they'll probably. Do you reckon they might do like a 10-episode season where they do both Skypiea and Water 7?
They could do
Or
that,
it
but
could
again,
be
they've done a very good
4-4.
job condensing
Yeah.
the holy split. 'Cause I wasn't sure.
Actually, here's another thing I realized they might. Something might end up. Actually, I don't know if they will. The island with the two giants.
Oh yes.
Where we meet Mr. Two.
You
Yeah.
have to do that one because
Because that's where we meet Mr. Two.
Yeah.
And he is amazing.
Yeah.
and also you're going to lose a lot for Nico Robin's backstory if you don't do that bit.
Oh, so what they might do? Oh, right. Okay. So
Just,
I think
they might even extend it to more episodes. With
I would
those
like
ones.
that. I think
Because there's so much to cover in Alabasta.
I think
Also,
they were
I
hedging
think
their
I think
bets
people are
with
going to want to
episodes.
see more of Kobe and Helmeppo after this season. So I think they will probably play a bit of a role.
I think they'll take a back seat because again, Garp doesn't really show up much after this. For
But
a
again,
while.
they didn't show up much in this arc.
Yeah,
and they
but-
did a
but I
good
mean-
job
Yeah.
posing them
I don't
in.
know, because the main reason those two were there for so much was because the Admiral was chasing after Luffy. So
Yes,
now
so
that
he's
he's
now-
basically stopped doing that, we might not
Yeah,
see as much of them.
because we know now that they're going to go on their own training arc, aren't we? So
Yeah.
that might happen off screen.
Ren, I will say actually, considering you're a big fan of One Piece, how did you and you've seen a lot of it? How did you feel about the imposement of those three characters in this portion of the story?
I didn't mind it. I quite liked it because I think. I mean, we'll put it this way. So if they took out Garp, Helmeppo, and Kobe's arc, they could have included more bits from, like for example, Django. Some of the fights with the minor characters in Arlong's and Boogie's crew. But I don't think that added too much. If the
Oh, wait,
purpose
that's another character that I mentioned, actually, Boogie.
yeah, well,
Buggy,
I
yeah.
love Boogie.
Boogie
He's so
was
good in this.
so well done.
So
And
good.
thank God it was only one episode of his arc. I thought, oh my God, do
Yeah.
not draw this one
And
out.
yeah.
they keep bringing him up though,
Yeah,
like
he-
all throughout.
He gets a lot again. He gets a lot more screen time.
Yeah,
and
I
kind of
know later
importance
down,
in this.
later down the line, Avada? Is her name?
Alvida.
Alvida, yeah,
the
she
one
comes.
she like eventually him and Buggy actually kind of get together.
we saw that
and
at the
like
end of
at the and like she eats like a devil fruit that makes her beautiful.
The slip fruit.
The slip fruit. That's it.
Yeah, because we saw them meet at the end of episode 8, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes. But
so we
Alvida
know
hasn't
what's
had the slip fruit yet.
So does that mean they're going to need to get an entirely new actress?
I am. Oh God, I am.
I don't
I am
know, actually.
I am dreading the controversy when that happens.
They might ignore that. They might just ignore it.
If
I
they
don't
don't
think
ignore it,
that's
if they don't ignore it, please someone on Twitter go, that's manga accurate.
Yeah.
Please, it's not.
It
people
probably
being...
doesn't add very much.
I mean, let's be honest. I think most of the people who are watching One Piece have already watched them. Are fans of the
Yeah,
manga.
but especially considering that Buggy and Alvida barely show up after the lockdown again.
My concern will be if they continue to do a long-running live-action series. Like, Luffy's going to be 30 or something by the time they get to, like...
I mean,
time skip.
apparently they said that if they want to have the full story, it's going to be 12 seasons.
12 seasons.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which, I mean, seen as... I mean, how many arcs have we had so far
Well,
in the manga?
Where did you say it ended in the... Oh god, in the manga, how many arcs? Fuck
Yeah,
me.
because if we have like a season for each arc...
We're on chapter 1096. The later arcs will need...
longer.
Probably dedicated seasons.
Yeah, I mean, because Alabasta arc starts out episode 1, chapter 101, and ends around 250.
I think the longest arc at the moment is Dressrosa, which is with Don Flamingo, which is probably like maybe needs 6 or 7 episodes itself, like live action episodes, I would say.
But again, they're
And
not.
that's
They're not
condensing.
just making the manga in these things. They are
Yeah.
giving its own identity.
Yes.
So they could. They could.
Wonderful piece.
They could.
It's great.
So good.
They
so good.
could actually sort of do a bit of a mix around also. My point is, I'll put it this way, I'm not going to be surprised if at the end of season 2, the post-credit scene is Don Flamingo, despite the fact he's not supposed to appear anywhere near that point in
When
time.
does he first show up?
He's really late in the game, actually, despite the fact he's one of the most popular villains in the canon.
I think he shows up kind of like just pre-time skip, and I think we're introduced to him even before that, but I can't remember when.
Well, yeah, that's one of the ways to get around it. If they want to cut a couple of bits of it and then do the time skip, that would be a way to get around the aging actors.
I think end of season 4 might be the time skip.
Actually-
Anyway, yeah, sorry.
We're speculating a lot.
Actually, here's a bit more speculation. This is actually kind of a...
No, yeah.
In the second season, how much do you think they're going to involve Ace? Because when we see him first in the manga, he's like there for a couple of chapters, then he goes off, and we don't see
I
him
think
for a
Ace is
while.
going to play a bigger
They'll
role.
expand his part massively.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
imagine
can't wait.
they're gonna put a fair amount of
They've gotta-
what happens with him
Yeah.
later on
They've
into
got-
the second season.
They've got to find an actor that looks like the Luffy's actor and is willing to wear that hat and be shirtless most of the
I
time.
just can't wait to see how sexy
I'm-
the actor they pick for him is.
Oh, God.
He'll be very sexy.
It's gonna be great.
I've no doubt. Also, Blackbeard will be a great introduction.
But incidentally, do you think that's who Ian McShane is in the opening narration?
Wait, does he narrate?
Yeah, the very first episode, you know that opening narration about Gold Roger? That's Ian McShane.
No, I tell you who I think he might be. No, actually, I won't because it'll spoil both of you. Never
But
mind.
basically, he's probably... Because it did feel weird. I was like, really? Ian McShane? You've got him out for just this
No,
part?
I know who it'll be.
But it's like, I'm glad he got thrown in that cameo.
Shanks is a great performer.
Oh, yeah,
I like
Shanks is
his-
fantastic.
Oh,
Yes.
Shanks is really good. His crew as well,
Yeah.
all look on point.
Yes, don't they?
Again, I love the fact they said, we're saying, no, that'll look too ridiculous in live action. No, we do it.
So
I love just one big detail. I love like at the end that we see Shanks seeing Luffy's wanted poster.
Yes.
And they're just like, boys, let's drink. We have a celebration.
Yeah, because that
Which
is
happens in the
manga as well.
anime.
Yeah.
Do you know what's annoying, though? In the 4Kids dub, they cut the drinking.
Oh really?
Do they?
Yeah, they looked like they genuinely were about to get into a massive fight with each other, and we never see them again for the entire show.
Love
Do you know what's also as well?
Just Luffy has a big bounty. I'll fucking kill you.
I
Do you
do
know what else they cut from that episode?
What?
The entirety of the celebrations on the island,
Oh come on.
including Nami's
Yeah.
goodbye.
Oh.
None of that shows up.
Oh
In
my
fact,
God.
she's...
Wow, 4Kids. No wonder you closed down.
It's literally, they do the Shanks thing, do a cut, and they're on the ship and looking at their wanted poster.
I was actually quite.
Hatred!
I was a little bit disappointed that they reduced Don Krieg's part to being just cut down by Mihawk, but it does kind of make more sense.
Oh, no,
Given that they cut that to give Arlong a bigger part, and also to
And
give
also,
Mihawk...
Don Krieg is an awful villain.
Why do you dislike him?
he doesn't have a very interesting attack. He never looks like he's actually tall a threat to Luffy.
No, for me, I thought that was one of the first bits where Luffy was tested in the anime when I first watched it. This was a good few years ago now.
He doesn't have much of a motivation either. He's a really boring villain. I always think the fact he came between Kuro and Arlong, who are both excellent villains.
Yeah, see, I liked it because he came in. Well, yeah, because it was weird to include Gin. You know, the guy who, what's his name? Don Krieg's second-hand man who comes and then initiates Don Krieg's invasion. Really,
I also think, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Again, I do kind of wish we did have him because again, it does leave out that plot hole.
I think if they were going to bring him in, he should have gone down like that, so they could keep that whole thing of the Arlong arc happening.
Then we wouldn't have had. Well, we could have had one of my favourite fights in One Piece, which is the guy Paru. Do you remember the guy with the giant pearl on his head?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's so stupid. And it gives Sanji a first one.
Still not as weird as the guy goes, well.
I don't remember him. Oh, maybe that's him.
No. It's the guy with the ice powers.
I don't think I've seen him yet.
No, he's not. He's after your arc, but he's great.
Yeah, but the thing about him is in the dub he always stretches out all the word "well" constantly.
Okay.
So it's like Thingamajig from ReZero.
Very much.
What else did I like? Dislike?
I'll tell you one thing. I think the costume design is excellent.
Isn't it so good?
Costume design.
So good.
They nail the looks of these characters. Nail it.
One thing that they do, which I enjoyed actually, was they make the technology kind of ambiguous because there's neon lights in the background of one of the bars, and there are electric lights in other places. And One Piece is very there's the advanced technology, then there's this sort of pre-Victorian
the one way I can really compare it is it's almost like Naruto, where they're using shurikens and kunai, and yet they have fucking cranes.
Yeah, and medical technology. Yeah.
I also think they did a better job establishing Kaya's character and her relationship with all the crew members.
Yes,
than they did in both the anime and the manga. If anything, Kaya's more of a developed character.
Very much.
Actually, more. Sorry, another gripe in Zoro's when we go flashback to Zoro. And see his rivalry with what's her name?
Oh, can't remember.
Yeah, it's the girl who we promised. Yeah, promised to keep fighting until one of them becomes the world's greatest swordsman.
Yeah.
I don't like that she's very cold and gloomy. Because if I remember in the anime, she was pretty louder than life as well.
Yes, yeah, she's actually she's that's a point. She's meant to contrast Zoro.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
I do hope they bring in more of Zoro's rudeness because at the moment he is just very cool, which I like.
Yeah.
But he needs to be, a knob, basically. I think.
I hope they also bring in the Captain Smoker's second.
Yes, Tashigi. That's
Tashigi.
But then again, they got to find an actress who looks like the actress.
They don't need to do that.
I mean,
we only saw her as a child anyway. So
we only saw her as a child. It's easier to do that.
Yeah, she's got to look relatively like the child actor.
It's easier to do that in manga than it is in real life. Let's be entirely honest.
Yes, but it's not impossible. They can definitely find an actress, but they have got to find an actress that looks a little bit like the actress they cast for that role. Again, because it does play into Zoro's whole thing.
Oh wait, I just realized the reason why they will need to go to Lowtown. Because that's where Zoro gets a new sword.
Yes, because he's missing.
It's also It's also where we get a brief glimpse of a very important character towards Luffy.
Yeah.
Yes,
which I won't dare spoil.
No, don't know. Yeah.
Because again, I went into it thinking about another thing about.
I just realised we're saying we're only going to be spoiling these people. We're spoiling fucking everything.
Yeah, I know. We're touching on things.
No, we're more touching on things rather than outright saying.
Yeah, but still.
Away.
But it's oh god, it's still not as bad as some people on Twitter who say anything about a video game with any sense to say that's a spoiler. It's no, it's not. It's a game mechanic. I'm just describing a game mechanic.
So, this was Claire's first interaction with One Piece as well.
What did she think of it?
She said she's really into it, and actually, it's making her want to watch the original.
Nice.
Which is just more than I could hope.
So that's proving that it's working against someone that didn't enjoy One Piece. They're actually going into the anime.
Yeah, a booktuber I watch, Mike's Book Reviews, has he talked about how he started reading One Piece because his kid really wanted to watch the live action. Now his kid's watching the anime is further in the show than he is.
Oh, I love that. That's
Can I
so
also
cool.
add something else I really liked about the show? The theme song.
Yes!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Right,
sorry.
It invokes the high seas completely.
Yeah.
There are so many tie-ins to later on in the series. Did you guys get to the bit with the Foxy Pirates?
I did. No. You didn't.
Long Ring, Long Land, or whatever it is. Foxy has a poster in Axan Morgan's. Yeah. and there's posters like littered around for characters who like you will meet later, basically.
Oh my goodness.
And also, no, you haven't met him, but there's a song called Bink Sake, which is really important in One Piece, and it plays very early on in the first episode.
Oh my god,
it's just like
this makes me. This is genuinely making me so happy.
It's
Just the fact that these showrunners clearly knew what they were doing, and they were passionate about making this the best.
Can also add another thing. I did like the fact they did have that slight musical cue to "We Are."
Yes,
they couldn't have done it
in episode 4, isn't it?
Yes.
When I first hear it. I do agree with you that they could have tied it in more because we only hear it
Yeah,
twice.
I do kind of wish they sort of did something like they did make a song that was sounded a little bit like the first OP.
Or if
I
they
would have
included-
also
like it's almost like in with the Someone Hunter film. I kind of wish it came out a bit later so we could get Dystopia sung up.
I would like it though if in the next season, now they have got a winning formula.
Yeah.
In the next season, we do get a well-known singer to do a cover of it.
Yes. One thing I would have liked is this like the pause transitions where they give the ad breaks. Which
is weird considering considering it's not an ad break. It's on Netflix. It's not broadcast on television anywhere.
No, I mean in the original anime. They would pause and do like the characters.
just like have that in the background or something.
Yeah, like I know it would be hard.
Or like maybe like there could be a ringtone for someone's snail phone.
Yes, like
But my favourite is but I think there's something. Tell me something you didn't like about Netflix One Piece, because we've been gushing quite a bit about it. Because there's got to be some things we didn't like about it.
I think I've already said most of my gripes, honestly.
It did feel like they pushed Kobe and Helmeppo because actually, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, they're not that integral.
And I say that I quite
Not in
like
the grand
that.
scheme.
And I've said I quite like that because I like the fact that I think it was a good change for a general audience, considering I don't think they're going to get the whole point of this world is big, so you're never going to get to meet these characters.
Yeah, this is like a personal gripe.
But whereas I thought I quite liked the fact that we got to see a bit more of Kobe.
Yeah.
I didn't like the fact in the anime he was gone for so long and then he showed up and he was badass.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Actually, it's less jarring this way.
It's a little less jarring that doing it that way, and I also like the fact it tied in quite well with mixing them into the Koro arc.
Yes.
Which again, I think if they had brought in Django, that arc would have been perfect.
Yeah, I think my gripe with Zoro's character is
also the octopus swordsman's not there.
Hachi, yeah, he doesn't. I think he's in the background, but he doesn't have like a forefront. But he is important. He is important.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, like at the beginning of all of the chapters, Ichiro Oda does quite often put like a small picture of like where is this character now, and it did that with him.
Yes.
What is
they actually do it with what's his name, NL at one point.
Like he did with Django as well.
Did he?
Yeah, he did it with Kobe, with Django. I'm pretty sure. I certainly did with Boogie as well.
He's got to do it with Kuro now, considering he doesn't in this version. He's actually sailing out to sea. He's rowing out to sea at the end of.
He is as well, isn't he? Yeah.
So,
I mean,
does he? I don't think he does come.
No,
I've not read that. He hasn't. I assume he hasn't come back yet.
I haven't. No, I mean he hasn't been mentioned. Like, neither's. No, I think he might have like one of those things that Elliot's referring to.
Where is he now? Type thing.
Yeah, I know that. What's his name? The guy who eats stuff and then he turns into a house. What's his name? What's his name?
What?
No. In Chopper's arc. What's that?
Oh, I know the one you're on.
Oh, that guy, the king.
Yeah.
The one who
Wapple.
Yeah, the ones who ate the munch fruit.
Yeah, that's.
And like just eats everything.
I think he.
It sounds, but I don't know. It just sounds like you said he eats something and turns into a house.
Well, he does. He turns into a house.
Oh, there's a guy. There's the shit.
That'll be funny to see in live action.
Oh god, the one I just realised might be starting in live action. The guy who looks like Usopp who turns into a giraffe.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, that just made me realise we're gonna see that guy like eat a cannon and then turn into a cannon.
Yeah, that'll be.
But the thing is, they've already shown that they're willing to embrace the ridiculousness. They can't now go back on that.
Yes, they will though. That's the essence of One Piece is how stupid everything is.
Like again, it's like why not there be a fish man as the maitre d' at the Baratier? Why?
I think that was a live action only inclusion.
Yeah, but again, it still matches the whole ridiculousness of it. Why not have it be that Merry just happens to be a sheep man and no one questions it?
Why not have that one Marine have fucking bear ears on his cap?
Why not have that unicycling
I wish
swordsman?
I wish they had given him the bear ears cap though. I wish they had. Maybe they'll do it in season 2, but also I will say the actor they got for that role is fantastic.
I think my favourite actor embracing the role was Garp. I love Garp.
Yeah. I will say, he nails being Garp.
He does seem a little bit obsessed with Kobe, but it's like, just like why is he kind of like latched onto it? But I guess because of his association with Luffy.
Yeah.
But again.
Well, you do see them a lot in the manga.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure even like in a slight brief things in the manga, the reason why he got so close to Kobe was because I think Kobe saved his life or something.
Yeah, I think also his association with Luffy.
I also think I never wanted to say Garp was going to be one of my
it's more
favourite
Zoro.
parts of the show.
It's more Zoro he hates. He's focused on than Luffy because Zoro cut off his hair. So like that while they're hunting him down, he's going on about
yes.
He's going on about how much he's going to make Zoro pay.
Yeah, and he wants to be a better swordsman than Zoro.
I just love the moment where he actually does the blowing up into a balloon to fire back the cannon.
Yes,
which
I
again,
didn't know I could do that.
Which again looked a lot better than I was expecting it to.
Yes.
The effects in general actually look a lot better than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Some of them look a bit ropey, like the Kuro's speed is a bit ropey of an effect.
Yeah, it's hard to do that though.
But it was going to be hard to get that right.
I really like how it's not just Luffy calling out his superpowers
Yeah.
as well. Like we got Buggy shouted chop cannon as an example.
Do you know what it felt like to me when I was watching it the whole time? A very big budget fan movie.
Yeah,
I
would say
it's
that.
It's like Street Fighter Assassin's Fist in that way.
Yes, it is very
loyal.
similar.
It's loyal and actually very good quality.
But I like the fact that they
really
were willing to say, we'll keep it in the spirit, but we will make a few changes to make this better fit the runtime.
Yeah, that's fair.
And also, I think with a longer perspective of One Piece, knowing where we are now in the manga and anime and whatnot, you know what not to include.
Yeah.
Like, you know what can be shaved off.
Do you know, in all honesty, I so wish Reese was here, because I think he would have so much to say on this one. And
what are you talking about? I am here!
I've been here the whole time! Yeah.
Gundam Build Divers!
I'm so looking forward to you getting your body and skin back next month.
Joke's on you, I'm taking your body and skin!
Well, we know what the opening joke for next month is.
Just Calvin's skin.
Yeah, Calvin's a skeleton next time.
Hello, welcome to Amigos. Please kill me!
So I would say...
Everything stinks!
So I would say you could transition from watching the live action to the end of, to the anime up to that point.
But I say it works both ways around. I think you could transition from the manga and the anime into the live action and you'd get a good experience. I feel
totally.
I feel like this is a rare lightning has struck moment, actually. And that's surprised because we all went into this thinking it was going to be bad. Does this give us any more hope for like Netflix Gundam?
I don't know at this point because on one hand this has been really good. By the same, on the other hand, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, it's like there's a weird track record here, but I would say if Netflix only concentrates on, if Netflix decides they want to drop Gundam, so they just concentrate on One Piece, if they can keep it at this quality, that would be worth it.
I think if they can replicate this formula, then great. And I think hopefully they've learned the lesson from.
Bebop. But I think with Bebop it was a case of I think with Bebop and Death Note they hired people who they just took a cursory glance at their source material.
The thing I find shocking about Death Note actually, the manga writer said he actually liked the film.
Interesting.
Yeah, Sugumi Oba actually gave praise to the film.
It's not too surprising. Like
Did he have a gun pointed to him at the time?
John
well,
Carpenter.
then no one knows what they look like.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
John Carpenter says he likes some of the Thing from Another World comics, despite the fact that most people don't think they're very good. But the can I ask something actually briefly?
Yes.
Do we think this is the best live-action anime adaptation by a Western studio to date?
From what I've seen, yes.
Yes, definitely.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to say one way or another at this point because I want to let it sink in for me. Because I feel like there's a couple of things where, like, everything we say in these things is, like, of the moment. Yeah. And months or years down the line, it can be completely different. I bet we went back and looked at a couple of our seasonal anime roundups, and some of the things in our top 5, we'd say, yeah, that's not very good.
Lights and magic.
Well, yeah.
But even stuff at the time which we kind of liked, it'll be because that was what we were comparing.
World's End joke. Don't do a World's End joke.
Because that's what we were comparing it with at the time.
Yeah.
And yet down the line we might say, maybe not. That's not as good. In the grand scheme of things, it's not as good. But at the time, it worked out.
Yeah.
I think though with One Piece, I think this is going to stand out. At least we will. At the worst, we're going to say is Well, at least the first season was really good.
I think if the fans at this point are happy with it, which I understand them to be,
Yeah,
it can be considered a success.
like everyone on Twitter, I was seeing people saying, "Oh my god, this is actually good. What the fuck?"
Yeah, I was not expecting it.
And I will say, I'm glad for it because, as Elliot pointed out, the actors
I
are really
want
into it.
I want it to be good just for the actors.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the reasons why I want the Percy Jackson adaptation to be really good, because the actors seem like they're having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Also just because I fucking hate the movies and I want this to be good.
Yes. Yeah, I get that.
Oh,
yeah, so-
I think we've exhausted this topic.
I think so.
I mean, we're really excited for season 2.
Very much.
Yeah. What are we like? Are there any like particular things you want to see in season 2? Like it could, like any dumb things at the very least.
Dumb things.
I think one thing I really want is when they first meet season 2, they get really happy and just start kicking the air with each other.
Yes. I think they've got to nail Vivi's introduction.
Yeah.
They've got to nail Chopper's arc because that's incredibly emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go completely pie in the sky.
Yeah.
Cover of We Are to be the theme, done by Dragon Force.
That's balls to the
I
walls.
don't
like
think
it.
they'll. I don't think they'll do that.
No.
Right.
I'm going to tag them in this video. I'll tag them to get them to know that this is an idea, so they can approach Netflix over this.
I don't know what.
You just get a message back from Herman Lee saying, "What the fuck is a One Piece?"
Yeah, I can't think of what would really suit it. What they would need to kind of keep in. They have to nail Chopper's design. They can't do a Sonic.
They have to nail. I feel like they really need to nail Crocodile's personality. We need him to be like menacing force. At the very least, we need him to be better than Arlong.
Yeah.
Because while I did like Arlong, you have to admit it wasn't quite the same.
No, I don't think he deserved to be an arc-ending villain. You know, I don't think he.
He is
needed
kind of
that.
considered the big bad of the East Blue.
Yeah, he is the last kind of like hurdle before they get to the Grand Line.
Yeah, like especially like with like how much of a menace he was to Nami.
I'm wondering.
I did actually really like that scene at the end of episode 7 where they almost pretty much perfectly reenact that bit when Nami's like crying over.
Yeah.
And like she's saying go away, and then suddenly just help me.
Yeah, they do absolutely nail some of the emotional parts of this. Actually, wow, they did a great job. I'm so happy with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
generally.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
It's great.
I'm glad. I'm actually quite glad because I actually went into this thinking I'm going to be the only one who proper likes it, and you two are going to be kind of in the middle.
No, I
Because
loved it.
when you were giving hints to me the other day, I thought you didn't like it. I was under the impression, but you were holding back, I guess.
No, I'm holding back because I thought I don't want to influence them and
Oh.
say that and make them think it's really good if they don't think it's really
No,
good.
I loved it.
I loved it.
Genuinely really good. Showrunners, you get a thumbs up from me.
100%.
Yeah, no,
100%.
you've done an excellent job. Please keep it up for season 2.
God, yes.
So, that's it for this month. I'm not sure what the subject matter is going to be next month, but we are going to come back with Reese in fully alive mode.
Yay. Well, we could do a 3-episode thing.
Possibly.
Well, actually, here's something I've been cataloguing with anime hot takes.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Like, we just do like a couple of hot takes and discuss them.
Bleach should have ended before the the Fullbringer arc.
I think
Should have ended just.
as long as we
just
promise not to turn it
Leviathan.
into anime fights again.
No, we're not. I think like it's literally just going to be like hot takes.
If we
just gonna
each
discuss
come
it.
up with like 5 and then we discuss them.
I was going to say 3.
Oh, 3, yeah.
I
3.
feel because I feel like I'm going to have a bit of time to each of them. I
Yes.
feel like 5 will be too much.
Yeah, so we'll do 3. I think we do our 3 hot takes, and then each one of us pick which one of the 3 hot takes that are put forward they most agree with.
Yeah, and also say ones we most disagree with.
And most
Yes.
disagree with.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Well, that's an interesting idea. So we'll be back next month with some anime hot takes. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you real soon. Goodbye, guys.
Wait a minute, guys! I just realised that's a skull.
Oh,